Here's some tips for you who commute to school. And commuting to school is a great way to save money. You don't have to pay for room and board and at college. And however, you are going to have to prepare for some different challenges to deal with if you're going to commute to school. And this is whether you are commuting to a 4-year school or a 2-year school or a community school. And the first challenge you're going to have to deal with is finding parking on a daily basis. And I cannot express to you how challenging this is going to be for you. I have yet to go to a college or find any college that had ample parking for all their students. It just doesn't exist. And so a couple of things you're just going to have to accept when you're commuting is going to school early. All right, so give yourself ample time. All right, before you go to class. If class starts at 9:30, you want to get to the college campus at 9 o'clock and maybe even 8:45 to get to class on time. And maybe even earlier than that. So you're just going to have to get up earlier. The commuter parking lots at 4-year colleges are way far away. I know at Rutgers, the commuter lot was like behind the Rutgers Stadium, which was on a campus that was not even close to any. You would have to walk 7, 8, 9 miles to get to the closest class. Stony Brook University happens to be right by my house. I've been there many times. Same thing. They have this big commuter lot, South P lot, and there's no way you're walking. I mean, you could walk. Like they say, everything is in walking distance if you have enough time. But you literally have to take a bus from the commuter lot to where the classes are, because they're all the way on the other side of the campus. So the point being is, you're going to need extra time. You're going to need time to find a parking spot. You're going to have to need time to wait for the bus to come to pick you up. Sometimes they're right on time, sometimes they're not, and get to class. And then you have to get off the bus and walk to wherever your class is. So you're going to need extra time. So if you have an 8:10 class or 8 o'clock class, you're going to have to wake up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on those days just to get you super duper prepared for this. So that's just how it goes. So now, in order for you to get to class on time, that's what time you're going to have to wake up, because you're going to have to get dressed. Even if you sleep in your clothes, right? You have traffic getting to school on time. Then you have to find a parking spot. Then you have to get on the bus and get to your classes. So just be prepared for that. So now some of you might be like, getting up that early? I'll just take I'll take a second period. I'll take 9:30 class. Well, great. If you're taking a 9:30 class, well, guess what happens when you get to school? And look for parking. Yeah, all the parking spots are taken up by the people who got there at 8 o'clock, who are taking an 8 o'clock class. So you have a similar problem, and you have to park even further away from the bus stop, and you have to spend more time finding parking in the first place. So a lot of extra, you're going to park in Guam. It's just kind of how it goes. So just be prepared for that. It's just a fact of life. Now, some schools have like metered parking that are certain spots in certain places at your school. Don't park there. Don't try to cut the corner. You might, if you can drive past there and find a spot, odds are it's not going to be open unless you're getting there really, really early, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But odds are you're not. Don't try to skimp on the money, because the quarters or whatever you have to do to pay to be at that spot. If you park at a metered spot or a metered parking, be sure to pay an extra 50 cents or whatever it is to make sure that you don't get a parking ticket, because colleges love parking tickets. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And they check. They know. Colleges know that the parking people at college know when classes end. So they go like 5 minutes before class ends, and they try to catch anyone who so they can get some parking money from you. So they know. So just be careful as far as meter parking. You can, and they're usually closer, but it's kind of hard to find those spots. You got to be really lucky. You're better off playing the lotto unless you go really super early, and don't mess with the parking tickets, which we'll talk about in a minute. So now here's the thing: if you're an early riser, great. You're gonna be great for college. If you wake up early naturally, or you're good with waking up early and you like that in high school, you're going to be fine if you're commuting, because it actually is good, because you get up early. Now, what you'll also learn as a commuter is you want to block your classes on like you want to have like, it's better to have like 2 days or 3 days of full classes, and then to do like a couple of classes 4 days or 5 days a week. And so so that way when you go there in the morning, you want to try to block your class. You don't want to try to have a big block in between of nothing. Now, your schedules are schedules, and you have to kind of do your best, but you want to try to set it up so you can get there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, your class starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, so you can get there at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then you can park, and you'll have that parking spot for the whole day. And because if you get there early enough, you can get some good parking, and that's really the key. So you get there early, you prepare, you get yourself, maybe you go to class early, or you sit in your car and you listen to the radio and you do some studying. Maybe you take a half hour, maybe you make sure that you're at your school a half hour early so you can get parking, and then you sit in your car and you study for a half hour to 45 minutes every morning before you go to class. So you're up anyway. It's better than trying to once you're done with school. A lot of times if you're taking like an 8:10 and then a 9:30 class and then an 11 o'clock class, 11:30 class, or 11:10 class, or something like that, or 10, was it 10:50? I think is it's usually about an hour 20 minutes for class time. So a 10:50 class. If you're taking first, second, third period, fourth period, fifth period, or you're taking 3 or 4 classes in a day, when you go home, you're kind of tired. Like if you're not going to a job or a club, or you got something else you're doing, you're kind of tired, and studying is, maybe you want to study late at night, but if you set yourself up to studying a half hour to an hour in the morning right before class, definitely you get a good spot and clears your day out. So that's how it goes. If you are one of those people who doesn't, if you're one of those people who has a tough time waking up in the morning, but you can do it, okay? Like you could wake up, like you were in high school, you hated waking up in the morning, but you did it because you had to, then that's good too. That's fine. Then you'll develop a habit. Don't let your sleeping patterns determine your school schedule. Don't pick your major based upon your sleeping patterns. I hate waking up in the morning, and all economics classes are early mornings. I'm not taking economics. That's not a good way to pick your major. So point being is just learn how to get up, because guess what? It's going to be a good practice, because if you become a teacher, or you're working in business, or you're working, most places, if you're working 9 to 5 and you got to get up in the morning, you're going to have to sit through traffic wherever you're going, wherever you're living. So it's a good way to start getting used to waking up in the morning, because I heard most jobs you have to wake up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning anyway, so you might as well start getting the hang of it while you're in college. If you are one of those types of people who cannot wake up, like you just know that waking up in the morning is not what you can do. I have a friend, Andrew. Andrew falls asleep. Andrew missed a flight to Hollywood on a free vacation. He had a free vacation to Hollywood. His flight was at 8 o'clock. He could not get himself up. He missed the flight because he can't wake up. I've seen Andrew fall asleep in a shower with the shower on through a opaque glass door, obviously, because I wasn't in the shower. I couldn't see him visually, but he's fallen asleep in the shower before in the morning, like literally like snoring while water is going over his head. So if that is you, and you can't wake up in the morning, like that's just so hard, do not take early classes if you commute. You will hate college, you will hate what you're doing, and you will probably fail out. You should get a night job and take night classes. Okay, but I mean, not a night job while you're taking night classes, but when you get out of college, find something that allows you to work at home or work on your own timetable, or a night job. But yeah, if you can't wake up, don't take morning classes, because it'll just be a fight every single day, and you'll end up not going to class more than class, just because you have to wake up so early, and you'll hate looking for a place to park, and you'll hate all that other stuff. Right? So some other tips for commuters, some cool stuff that'll help. Dress appropriately before you leave for school. When I say appropriately, I mean dress comfortably. Now you don't have to look like a schlub, but ladies, you don't need super high heels to go to college. Class. Especially if you're commuting, you're talking about you're already going to do a lot of walking. So wear comfy shoes. Wear comfortable shoes. Check the weather before you leave. All right, so check the forecast. Most people on their phones now, it gives you the forecast for the day, so you can just kind of look at your phone. But check the forecast for the entire day, because it might be freezing in the morning when you wake up, but it might be hot, or really hot, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon when you're at class or in between classes, and now you're walking around with this big frumpy coat, walking around. You don't want to take the bus or go back to your car just to drop your coat off. Or vice versa. You might be freezing all day when it was warm in the morning, and so just make sure you check. Also, you want to check and see if it's going to rain. that day. Here's a real simple tip, so you don't have to check. If you don't like checking for weather, take an umbrella and stick it in your trunk of your car. Just have an umbrella in your trunk of your car at all times, just in case it rains throughout the day or it's going to rain and you just have the umbrella there. If you're one of they're like for my boys out there, get one of those big giant golf umbrellas, right, and stick that in the trunk of your car and just have a big umbrella, because if it's raining, you might want to help a young lady out and make sure she can stay dry, and you can strike up a conversation as you walk. So nice way to meet someone. So some other tips here: bring snacks, bring something to eat with you to school. Campus food is much more expensive than buying things at like the supermarket, especially drinks. Just getting a bottle of water or or a soda or something every day, it becomes very expensive. Just getting snacks, or you go and you're like, oh man, I'm hungry in between class. It's $1, it's $2 for a candy bar at a school, where you can get a pack of them, for something like that. When you're at the supermarket, same thing with water. They charge you a lot of water. You can get a case of water and just bring some water with you, or get a Brita filter and fill up some water before you go to school every morning. That's something you could do. Also, keeping extra clothes in your car. Good thing. Get a duffel bag, keep it in your car. You never know when you might spill something on yourself. You never know when you're gonna tear something. You tear your pants. You get a run in your stockings if you're a lady. Anything like that. You want to have an extra pair of clothes in your car. You will the one time your pants split or you spill something on yourself, you'll thank me for making this video for you. So just take some clothes, put it in your trunk of your car. You just have some clothes that you have. You might want to even make them like workout clothes, because a lot of times if you're commuting, you might have friends that are at campus who want to go to the gym afterwards, or especially in the springtime, a lot of students like to play frisbee or play football or hang out outside, and you don't want to have to go all the way home to change, to work out or to play something. So you just go to your car and you get your stuff and you're right there. So another tip as far as being a commuter is to make sure that you like your school's Facebook page and their Twitter page, and if they have little clubs and things inside there, like the social activities, campus service, career services, campus services, or all that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff, right? So that way you get updates. Sign up for the school events emails or updates or emails, so you get them. You might not want to go, but it's kind of cool. Somebody comes to your school and you might want to see them. He's a comedian. Like, remember, just because you're a commuter doesn't mean you're not a part of the school. You still pay the fees for the school. You pay for all the services. You pay for all that stuff. So take advantage of it and make sure you know what's going on. So this way if there's a concert or if there's a career fair, or the school, if there's a performance at the arts building or something like that, you want to know what's going on so you can be a part of the school. Again, like I said, just because you're a commuter doesn't mean that you're not a part of the school. So also you get free use of the gyms, the library, the computer labs, learning and tutoring centers, the career center. Don't forget all that stuff. That's all for you too. And so you pay the money for it. So don't just go to class and come home. Like all that stuff and things that are going on. Make sure that make your college life, because you're not living on campus, it'll keep you as a part of the college life. So don't miss anything. So these are just some tips for the commuters, and I hope these help.